October 2022, still the tail end of the pandemic. Rent was due and we were short. Not a little behind short. I'm talking $180 short. Just enough to get hit with those insane late fees that our trash apartment complex loves to slap on. I was not about to go into a deeper financial hole over less than $200. Our income at the time was closely tied to oil. Let's just say when the barrel price dropped in the negatives for the first time in American history, thanks to the chaos of the pandemic, so did our bank account. At the time, I was reselling stuff online and running a niche OnlyFans page. So yeah, I had a hustler's mentality. If I had to sell antique spoons or my soul, I'd do it just to keep us afloat. On October 2nd, a day before rent was due, I started trolling Craigslist. Under the gig section, I was looking for anything quick, no scams, no weirdness, maybe a little weirdness. That's when I found it. The ad was bizarre. The guy, let's call him Paul. He kept using the word discipline. Like a lot. He wrote that he lacked discipline in his life, that it was ruining his business, that he was gaining weight. And this is where I raised an eyebrow, that his parents were to blame. He needed someone to whip him into shape. It was all one giant red flag, which made me think he's looking for a dominatrix. I emailed him immediately. Told him I was experienced, a lie. Told him if he bullshitted me, I'd block him, truth. Told him I'd give him exactly the discipline he was begging for. And he replied almost instantly. The email thread between us was hilariously titled Strict Parental Guidance. And it became pretty clear that Paul had a mommy kink. He kept reiterating that he wanted to be disciplined like his mom had disciplined him. Yeah, it grossed me out a little, but not enough to throw away a $200 opportunity. So over the next few emails, I got him to send me his full name and a photo holding up a blacked out ID, showing just his name and face. I used a free trial of Been Verified to confirm that it all checked out. He agreed to come to my apartment, but only if it wasn't an ambush. Yeah, this man who wanted to be spanked like a little bad boy wanted assurances that he wouldn't get robbed. Reassuring someone that you're not going to rob them felt weirdly disingenuous, even though I meant it. When I told my partner what I was planning, he was hesitant, but of course, as always, he was incredibly supportive. I wasn't asking, I was telling. And if he knows better than to get in my way when I've made up my mind, he knows I'm capable of incredible things. When I set my mind to something, even if that something was peddling a stranger for our rent money. I got to work. I took down all the photos of my apartment so it looked like I lived alone. He agreed to walk our 2 giant dogs during the session. I got dressed in black, thigh-high leather boots, some lingerie that was sexy but not too sheer, and a severe red wig with blunt bangs. I looked like I was in full control because I had to be. So when Paul arrived, he put the $200 cash on the table. I pulled out my money marker and checked every bill. in front of him. Then I folded the money, I stuffed it in my bra, and I told him straight up, there will be no sex, no penetration. Not the kind where I'm being penetrated, where I'm not being penetrated. I mean, I'm not going to penetrate you, Paul. That was not this kind of service. I was here to beat his ass. And that was it. I had 3 implements laid out: a riding crop, a leather paddle that said whore, and a solid wood paddle made from an old church pew. That last one, absolutely brutal. I had him drop his pants in the middle of the living room and list out all the ways he was failing at life. Every time he said something, I'm lazy, I haven't been working, I'm gaining weight, I gave him a whack. He started sucking his thumb in between spanks. I was thrown, but I stayed in character. Then I had him lie across my couch, his bare ass facing up, and I gave him a lecture. I told him no woman would touch him if he kept letting himself go. I told him he needed to do his job, and he needed to make some actual money so that a woman could take him, so he could take a woman out properly, even if that woman was feeling charitable. And then he told me he'd been skipping work to go on cruises. Cruises. This man had money for Carnival, but not discipline. Here I am beating this man's ass for rent money, and he can't go to work. I was fuming. I made him stand up, and I grabbed that wooden paddle. This is for your own good, I told him. He smiled this creepy, satisfied smile, clearly thinking he was winning. He had no idea what that paddle could do. With each spank, I made him beg for forgiveness, for me and for his mother. He lasted 6 hits before using the safe word. And not just any safe word, no, this man shouted, sassafras! Like we were in a cartoon tea party instead of a BDSM scene. It absolutely had no place in a sexual scenario, which, I guess that was the point. I looked at the clock. 57 minutes. Perfect. He pulled up his pants, he wiped his tears, and asked me to go on a cruise with him. I told him he better get the hell out of my house before I paddled him again. And he thanked me. Thank you, Mistress S, and left. I called my partner. He came back with the dogs. We walked across the street to the ATM and deposited the cash. We paid our rent at 11:37 p.m. Just in time to avoid those late fees. Yeah. We even had enough left over for Mickey D's, y'all. And that, my friends, was the end of my in real life dominatrix career. One day only. One night only. But hey, it paid the rent.